just dropped. What do you got going on your channel? I've never seen it. You like what? Your tits and stuff? You got you're showing your thingy whoppers all the time? Um, no, I want to see it on. We want to do Twitter, Twitch. Um, yeah, we're not even up there because of we have no content on this channel yet. Well, duh. That's what I just said. Um, what are you talking about? Okay. Well, that's me talking to you on the phone. Okay. How do I find this channel here? So how do I find it when I... Oh, let me see if I'm even on. Uh, oh, I'm on Fly TV instead of Smart Money Culture. I'm not even on the right one. That's why. No, I'm not on there. On my iPads, I'm not. How do I change this to, oh, switch accounts? Okay. I want to go to, there you go, Smart Money Culture. There I am. So I have Fly Mackey, no channel. Fly TV, I love that one. 25 subscribers. That nobody's on there. Smart Money Culture, 2 subscribers. There we go. Now I'm logging into my own. Okay. Of course you can. So there's Smart Money Culture with my videos. Okay, where does it show that I'm playing live? Because it should show something. Your videos. There it is, view channel. I see it. Smart Money Culture. All right. Okay. Hello, Texas. Don't turn that dial. This is the Fly Mackey Show once again, and I'm your host, Fly Mackey. So we're live on YouTube right now as we're streaming over on YouTube on Smart Money Culture. It's at Smart Money Culture. We got 2 subscribers. We went live today for the first time tonight, about 2 minutes ago, on YouTube. Now we're live here on television. So if you're watching me, matter of fact, hold on a second. I want to send Billy a note. I seen it. Uh, are you working or sleeping? I could have you. I could give you a little airtime on my network here, thesmc.tv. I'm live right now. You can also pick this up in your home on channel 21.4. You guys just chill and wait for me, okay? we're connecting some sites. Okay. And there you go. I love it. All right. It's a lot of work putting these together. So if you're watching me on YouTube, this is being restreamed from our actual television network in Houston. So if you're in Houston or Corpus Christi or College Station or Beaumont, Texas, as well as Lake Charles, Louisiana, you're watching us live in your home because we're broadcast television. And then we're restreaming it back to YouTube at the same time that we're live on television. Okay. And even most of the television networks don't do this. They take their shows and they do them separately. But anyway, so here you go. And then we're going to be streaming to our Twitter, or excuse me, X, and then, or Twitter, and then Twitch. I think we're going to be streaming to Facebook, and then a couple of other ones. Okay. Or LinkedIn, of course, LinkedIn. So this is really exciting as we're just starting to launch our social media that goes our um, with our television network. Okay. So here we're going to work in some politics. We're going to work in some sports, local news, national news, world news, so to speak. And then when I was going over the reports of what viewers were saying about why they stopped watching ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox. And one of the overwhelming responses was that the experience that ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox was telling the American public or their viewers was a different experience than what the viewers were experiencing. So the life and the real life experiences when in Texas and New York or California, wherever they were watching you at, the TV viewers were saying their actual experiences are not what is being broadcast on television. And so this was the number one reason why they didn't call it fake news. They didn't call it that. What they said that was the experience wasn't the same. And so it's kind of like watching something in a foreign language. You're like, well, okay, I hear you talking, but I don't understand you. So I can't participate in the conversation if I don't understand you. And that's exactly what the viewers were saying in these surveys, and which was the number one reason why they stopped watching the major networks, because the experience wasn't the same. Like the TV networks were saying, you should be experiencing this, you're feeling this, you're doing this. Um, this is the way life is over here. This is what's going on. And the people who are watching, like people like you and me who are watching from our homes, were saying, no, that's not how we feel. That's not what we're experiencing. That's not what's going on. So we have there was a disconnect there, which was what the viewers kept saying was the number one reason why, they stopped watching the major networks. And there was a whole list of other reasons to go down there. That was just one of them. Okay. And so when you take the entire network of television, which was created in the early 1900s, before that actually, but let's just say in the early 1900s, what the history books tell us and what reality is are two different things. So the history books say, by the way, I don't like that background. I like the one with my dogs, where the dogs were doing each other. It said the government, us, me, government was trying to take my money. It's pretty cool. I got to take this out. I got to take this earpiece out for a little bit. Hold on. We're going to be on here for a while. I think you're missing the point. We're not trying to accept their money. Period. I don't want to do business with them. We are. Hold on a second. Hold on. You got to slow down for a second. I just saw the email that had to do with Stripe. Once again, like, you have to stop communicating with them, and we have to delete the account and tell them we're canceling the account. Don't send anything to our account. We're canceling you as our business vendor. Like, stop trying to collect money from them. We don't want to do business with them. Like, I wouldn't accept the money at this point at all. Yeah. I know, but that's not what I want you to hear me out here, because I don't care about that right this second. I'm talking to you about this account. Like, you have to stop communicating with them, trying to collect money from them. Like, we have to be done with that. And we're not collecting any money. I'm going to refuse any money that comes in. I'm going to turn it back in. Like, we have to be done with them. This is going on a month, almost 2 months. So this isn't even acceptable business. And when you return the message back to me, but you didn't reply to Adam, just me. Okay. Well, the bottom line is that we're not trying to do business with them. We do not want to do business with them. If they send us money, we're going to send it back. Like, I don't know how many times I can tell you this. You have to stop communicating with them about trying to receive money. Every message that should be, we're not doing business with you, cancel our account, send back the money. That should be every single correspondence. Do you hear me? Thank you. I have no idea. No clue. No clue. We have plenty of time. Slow down. Well, just slow down. We're not in a rush here. We've had days and days to do this. Where we don't have to do anything time sensitive. So I see myself on YouTube, which is pretty cool. I'm kind of froze on YouTube. I don't even think I'm moving. Oh, there I am. I can see myself now. Uh, do you see that comment that somebody wrote? Thank you, Faith. Say hello to your sisters. That's over on the live chat. Yeah. Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's on YouTube and it huh? Yeah, that's me. Yeah, I said hello, Faith. Thank you, Faith. Say hello to your sisters. How are your sisters doing today? They're feeling heavy today? Yeah, no. Never heard of it. Yeah. Yeah. For those of you out there in TV land who are listening to this conversation, so we're going to be on for I'm going to be on for an hour or two. I got plenty of time to just sit and I'm talking about our processing. So we're going through the underwriting of getting a merchant processing. Okay. And uh, so we were referred by one of our business partners to his processor, his bank. And the bank said, yes, we want your business. And we run plenty of money of course, we're always broke over here. We're always broke because everything that comes in, we use to scale the business. So we're always broke. But Faith, did we have to send them banking information? Gotcha. Gotcha. So we sent them the information. They said it should take about a week. And then hopefully they give us a merchant processing account. And then we're going to process our business just like one of our partners is doing. And they have zero returns. Their business is so good, so solid, but it's the crossing the T's and dotting the I's. When they deliver a product, they deliver the product. And in credit and credit cards, when you're taking money off these cards, the key to every transaction is the delivery of a product. Would you say that's right, Faith? If if somebody buys something and they want to know, well, how do you know you bought it? That's the key when you're disputing something all the time. How do they know you bought it? Well, here we write with our partner, without giving away all the information, our partner has them sign an agreement through a DocuSign. And then they sign the document, they send it back, and sometimes this takes a day or two for this to go through. So it's not going to happen immediately. But these are also big purchases. Some of these purchases are $30,000, $40,000 on the average purchase is 30 to 40,000. That's what Dan was telling me, Faith. The average charge is 30 to 40,000. Some of these are up to $100,000. And so they make them sign these agreements saying this is what we're doing, and then here's the fee for it, what we're doing. And then and then they just follow through, and all the way through there, there's signatures. Otherwise, they don't do the business. And he has a solid business, and they get zero returns. We want a business like that, right, Faith? Where we have zero returns, because when you deliver the product, and by the way, he doesn't know this yet, but crypto works the same way. When you send crypto to somebody's wallet, there is no disputing it. You're not getting it back because you are the one who sent it. Now, the banking industry is not set up that way. It's open source. It's totally different. When I say, without confusing or even sounding stupid, because I may put my foot in my mouth, the banking industry is different than the crypto industry. This is why the banks don't want crypto to happen, because the authentication of a purchase from peer to peer or peer to business to business, when that transaction is done, there's no saying I did not do that, because this is your personal wallet. And when you send it over, you're the only one with the keys to do that. You're the only one who can get into your wallet. So when you send somebody some money, they know it was you that sent it. Okay. So there's no dispute in saying I didn't do it. Anyway, and they don't just let people jump on these accounts. I mean, there's a lot of verifications. Trust me, it's not that easy. If somebody's trying to get onto your account, you have to verify that you're letting them get on, especially from another location. Isn't that right, Faith? Like they're asking for a second authentication, like they're going to send a code or something saying, are you trying to do this? Right? Yeah, is this you? And so they do it through a two-factor authentication or a text message. And so that a lot of the fraud, the majority of the fraud, all that's going away. And anyway, so and this is not done with credit, it's done with cash. But this is really a cool business because credit really isn't involved in crypto yet, but it's coming. They don't know how to get involved. The crypto world doesn't really want them. But once again, it's coming. And the reason they don't want them is because you buy a coin, like you buy some coins, and 30 days later it goes up 5 times. And you're like, what do I need credit for? Right? Now, you do need credit. If you don't have credit and you don't have debt, you're not even in the game. You know who Robert Kiyosaki is, Faith? Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He said he was $600 million in debt about a year ago. 600 million in debt. Now he only runs, so he has credit lines, okay, and he lives off his cash flow from the credit lines. He said this guy's worth several $billions, but as of a few days ago, he says he's 1.2 billion now. He's doubled his debt in the last year or so. Doubled it. Isn't that crazy, Faith? So this is why you cannot be afraid to be in debt and tell your vendors, hey, we're going into debt with you, but our cash flow is going to help us grow, and it's going to help you grow if you will give us debt. If you give us debt, you're going to help us grow, okay, because of the cash flow. So with debt, with cash flow grows a bigger bank, grows a bigger account, and then you get to live inside that cash flow, which is the difference of the debt and how much cash flow is coming in there. And the more cash that you put in there, it builds and allows you to take more out to buy more product or whatever that is, like houses or whatever you're buying, right? In order to make money. So it's a really cool, but it's the way you're going to see a shift. And remember that you heard this today. You're going to see a shift in banking and lines of credit, home equity lines of credit. If you own a house, you should be your own banker. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. We're going to go over to, they're sending me message. We're going to get into some stuff tonight. We're going to go to X. Let's go to X. And there we are. So we're streaming live on Smart Money Culture Television here in Houston, Corpus Christi, College Station, Beaumont, Texas, Lake Charles, Louisiana. Okay. And at the same time, we're restreaming back to YouTube, YouTube at Smart Money Culture, at Watch Smart Money. It's at Watch Smart Money. And then, of course, and then we're live on Twitter or X. That is on, it's at Watch Smart Money. And on YouTube, it is Smart Money Culture. Okay. All right. Let's take a look a little bit about, I want to look at this here on the loan calculators that we were looking at yesterday. When you take out a loan, and this is the difference between a loan and a line of credit. Okay. So the line of credit, and I'm going to play one of Christy Van's videos here. I have to go get my dogs here in a little while. But let's say you have $150,000 loan, and you want to pay this off in 4 years. The interest rate, let's say, is at 4% here. Okay. And so your monthly payment is going to be about $3,386.86. Now, the total payment on here is going to be $162,000. Your interest is only going to be about $12,000, a little over $12,000. But here's what's happened when you put the majority of your money in. Hold on one second here. Let me make sure I got this up. correctly. Yeah. Yeah. So right here is, you see here, there's your monthly input right here, and you can borrow as much as you want out of here. When you put money in, you should borrow money out to pay all your bills, but your monthly payment, see your monthly payment, and it makes your interest go way down. Why? Because you're front loading it on the principal. See here, your principal payment is $2,886. Now, what happens when you do this is that you're killing the minimum monthly payment that would go out. So the minimum monthly payment here is on 150,000, interest rate 4% at 48 months. Your monthly payment is, when you put $3,300 in, 2,800 of it goes to the principal. Now watch this. Now let's take a look at $150,000 at that 4% interest rate, and we're going to do this at 30 years. Okay, and this shows you here that your total interest is $107,000. See that? So the difference between $107,000 at 4% and the interest actually goes out to 8% when you're doing it on a 30-year. So whatever, let me look at you in the face here, guys. So what happens here is when you have whatever your interest rate is, you just double it. So if it's 4 over the period of a lifetime, it's going to be 80%. That's 80% interest. Okay. If it's 5, that's going to be 100% interest. Just take that and multiply it by 2. And that is what the interest rate is going to be for the lifetime of that loan. Okay. This is why it's better. And the loans, even though they give you a lower interest rate, the amount you pay back is always 3 or 4 times greater than what it would be if you had a 14 or even an 18% interest rate on a line of credit. Because if you look here, let's get back over here. What happens is when you pay, see this $107,000 in interest. You see this $107,000 in interest, $107,803.20. And your minimum monthly payment's only $700. You see that? So you have a lower monthly payment and a lower payment, but your interest. Look at your interest. What you're going to pay $107,000. Now let's take a look at what happens when you make a higher payment. So your monthly payment is $3,000. You're going to pay this over 4 years. Instead of $700, your monthly payment is $3,000. Well, what happens is it accelerates and you're borrowing money back out of your account to pay your bills. Okay, but look at here. Look how when you overpay the minimum monthly payment, which would have been $700 in this case. See this? Let's go back over here. Look at this. See this? So that's 8% on a 30-year. That's what it's going to come to. Your minimum monthly payment would be $1,100. $1,100. you're going to pay $246,000 in interest over 30 years. You see this? $246,000 over the period of 30 years. Now, when you're paying this at a higher interest rate, but you're paying down, you're putting your whole check in. So what happens, see that $1,000? So what happens is, and let's say that's your minimum monthly payment. Let's go back over here. So in this scenario here, you're putting your whole paycheck in instead of the 1,000. You're paying the entire $3,000 instead of your entire paycheck instead of the minimum. So when you put this kind of money in, it eliminates that $1,100 payment, which is mostly interest. You see here how it front loads the principal, and you have a smaller interest payment. And over the period of 4 years, instead of stretching that out at 8%, you wind up paying 4%, the real 4%, and only $12,000 in interest over 4 years. But look at this. This is what you want to see. Look at this one more time. See this interest, $12,569 over 30 years, $246,000. So you're going to pay $234,000 more by paying this off in 30 years the traditional way. This is why, see this? When you pay your minimum monthly payments, you're going to wind up paying $244,000 more you're going to pay in interest over 30 years by paying the minimum monthly payments. So like Don, I don't know if you're watching tonight, Donald, but Donald always wanted to pay his credit cards off, right? Which was the correct way of doing it. Now, when you got your line of credit, the difference, Donald, of paying your credit cards off and putting the difference was that your entire check should have gone into your credit card, not just pay the card off. So it doesn't matter if somebody paid you back or not. It's what you did with your own money. Let me show you something. Let me get rid of. Okay, so let's go to a screen. We're going to get rid of this. Okay. So your minimum monthly payment is $1,000, right? You make $3,300. So the key here is if you pay this here, it's front loaded on interest. And if you look at what the interest was here, let me share the tab again. Hold on one second here. Okay. All right. All right, I can't figure this out. Share screen. There we go. Hold on a second, folks. We're using some new technology tonight, and I'm trying to figure this out. All right. I like to be on this side. Okay, now watch this right here. Make sure I got the right calculator up. Okay. Okay, if you can see here, folks, on this particular case right here, you have $150,000, let's say, on your loan, on your line of credit, and your minimum monthly payment is $1,100. Now they're going to stretch this out over 30 years, which is going to cause your interest rate to be 8% instead of 4%. So what you do is you take your interest rate, whatever it is, and you double it over the lifetime of your loan, which turns to 8% or 80% instead of the 40%. It would be 40% over the lifetime, but you double it, which causes it to be 8 or 80%. So you take that 150,000 times 80%, and it comes out to $246,000 in interest that you would pay over the period. Wow, that is just incredible, over the period of 30 years. Now watch this. The 8% actually turns into 160, but don't want to confuse you too much tonight. The matter of fact, you see here how on the when you pay the minimum monthly payment here of $1,100, the interest is $1,000, and you only pay $100 in principal. You see that? and this goes all the way down for, 360 months. But once again, you see here, you can keep going. I'll go slow. See this? You're paying nothing but interest, 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 interest. And every month you pay a little bit more on the principal. See here, $100, 102, 102, 102, 103, etc. So you don't pay much on the principal. Now what happens is when you front load it and you put your entire paycheck in, it will eliminate this $1,100 a month payment because it doesn't get generated. So the loan will not, or your line of credit will not generate this minimum monthly payment because you put your entire check in. Let's take a look at what that looks like. When you put your entire check in, this of let's say $3,300, it eliminates that minimum monthly payment, and this is what it looks like. That you have $2,800 going to your principal and only $500 in interest. And when you do this scenario, it causes this to get paid off instead of in 30 years, in 48 months. That's incredible. Let's go back over here. That's $12,569 in interest payments that you'd pay. Let's go back over here and look at this one more time, and let's recalculate this one more time. It's $150,000. The interest rate on it, let's say, is 4%. We won't get into the mathematics today, but let's just say the term here is 30 years, okay? So you're going to wind up paying on this, on a minimum monthly payment, $716 a month. Are you with me on this? Okay, now watch. When you do this on this is we're going to figure it out, spread out over 30 years. It's $150,000, interest rates 4 years or 4%, 30 years. You're going to pay $716 dollars a month on here. But look at the interest. It's $107,000. Now it's going to be more than this because we're not compounding the interest or anything like that. But let's just leave it simple for you to understand, look at tonight. You see here, the principal, see how low the principal is, but look at the interest. So you're paying tons of interest, tons of interest, tons of interest. And the interest is always higher than the principal. You're going to wind up paying $107,000 in this. Now this right here is going to take you 30 years to pay off, but you're going to pay $107,000 in interest. Let's write this down. When you're doing it the traditional way, you're going to pay $107,803.30. This is paying your minimum monthly payment of $1,100 a month. Okay? This is what you're going to pay in interest. Okay? When you put your entire check in, you're going to wind up paying $3,300 in this scenario here. And you're going to wind up paying, look at this, $12,569.28. Let's do the math. $12,569.28. So $107,803.30 minus $12,569.28 is a savings of $95,234.02. This is how much you're going to save in interest payments. Do you see me there? That's how much you're going to save in interest payments by putting your whole check in. You put your whole check in the line of credit, and then you borrow the money back. And the difference, it creates what's called cash flow. This is what Robert Kiyosaki was talking about today, of how he lives off of debt. Now, he's worth several $billion above and beyond his debt. He's worth several billion above and beyond his debt. But he continues to stay in debt. Matter of fact, he was about $600 million in debt over the last year or so. Now he is $1.2 billion in debt. So he's in higher debt now. He's doubled his debt than what he was a year or so ago, okay? But in doing that, it grows his credit lines. And the money is in the credit, not in the paychecks that you make. And it creates quite a bit of cash flow, all right? But he gets to save in this scenario here, you're saving $95,234 over the lifetime of that loan in interest. So since you're saving that money, it allows you to go out and invest it in something else, like buying equipment, that's whatever it's going to do to help make you money. Okay. And in return, as long as you keep making your payments like you do already, then and you start putting that money into those lines of credit, it continues to eliminate all that interest. So you're front loading yourself and allowing you to invest. That's what it does. You're just taking the money that you would have spent on interest, and you're spending it up front on something else, on an investment. And you took that investment money out of your credit line. That's all you're doing. In return, as long as you make your payments like you would have anyway, you get to save all that interest, and you get to do it over and over and over. I'm going to show you a debt calculator here. Hold on one second here. And I love doing this, folks. And listen, if you are not part of this, you're not in the game. Our country here, these great United States of America, has a financial system created to run on debt and credit. So if you don't have debt and you don't have credit, you're not even playing in the game. And people say all the time, well, the system is rigged against us because I'm brown. I don't believe in racism. It's fake. It's false. Everything, the media. By the way, this is why the major networks, ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox, have lost about 70% of their viewership. This is fact. Facts don't care about your feelings, and they don't care either. But once again, what I just said was a tagline that people say all the time to get to you. You know what I'm saying? But once again, you have to be in reality. And one of the reasons these surveys say, when they were asked, why don't you watch the major networks, ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox, CNN, and MSNBC, those guys, is because the consumer, people like you and me, said that what they were saying our experience should be is not what we were experiencing. So it's kind of like talking to somebody in a foreign language. If you can't communicate with them, then you go to somebody you can communicate with. And whatever that ABC says that you should be feeling and what was going on, you're not experiencing. I don't experience in as a brown person any difference of anything ever. Like, I have the same rights. I go anywhere I want to go, anywhere at any time, and nobody says anything to me ever. Why would they? Because it has nothing to do with transaction of business. And when you meet somebody, you say hello, how are you? And you go and you do business together. You say, you communicate together, you go on your own way. It has nothing to do with anything of to do with color. When you say hello to somebody, it's you're saying hello to a person, but you're not saying hello to the color. Anyway, so our experience, this is what people are saying, their experiences aren't the same as what they're saying it should be. This is why there's been such a loss in people watching, or such a drop in the viewership from the major networks. Now, for those of us who own TV networks, now I have a small one. We have a viewership of about 4 million. So we're small, but we're scaling. So we're fixing to skip hopefully we're going to skip two different levels, and we're moving up to 37. We're going to add 37 million households to our network. Hopefully that's what we're working on. And but anyway, we're working towards that. Okay. Anyway, here, let's get back to this debt calculator. If you don't have debt, and then you don't have credit to manage the debt. See, it's one thing to have the debt. It's another thing to have the credit to manage the debt. So if you have credit cards, you can use our strategies of velocity banking in order to learn how to create cash flow. Just like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Cardone, all the billionaires, Trump, they all live off their cash flows. They don't live off their paychecks. They live off cash flow through their lines of credit. So, but anyway, if you don't have it, if you're not in this, you're not playing in the game. So once again, let me get back to the point, because I just rambled on for 15 minutes. If you don't have credit, then you can't play in the game. So when people say that system is rigged against them, it's because it's just that they haven't learned the system. Once you learn the system, then you can play the game. So if you're not willing to learn the system, stop complaining, because this is the system that you have to play in. And it's never going to change. It's been this way for hundreds of years. The stock market started in, guess what year? 1792. 6 brokers got together and said, hey, the country's going a little sideways. Let's let people buy small percentages of our business, and then we can hire. It'll bring in more cash flow, and then we can hire more, we can build more, we can create more, which is exactly what happened. You can go back and look it up. 1792 was really the origination of the New York Stock Exchange. And from there, it's been going straight up ever since. That's over 230 years that it's been around. Credit has been around from day one. So people who don't have credit, you're not playing in the game. So you can't believe what people are telling you when they say there's a different system. There is no system different. This is the system. It is debt and credit. That's the system. Once you learn it, then you can play. It's like showing up to a baseball game. Those who have a mitt, a ball, and a bat can play. But if you don't have that, you're just a spectator. Watch. what do spectators do? They buy the soda, they buy the hot dogs, they buy the chips, they buy the jerseys. They're paying for everything that those who are participating get paid on. Those who are playing the game, they get paid every time a hot dog sold. They get paid every time a jersey sold. They get paid when people are in there buying the gloves to catch the foul ball. Every time something is bought, the players get paid. But those who are just spectators, all they're doing is just paying cash and they're buying. That's it. But they don't get to participate. So once again, if you're not in the game, if you're not in debt and you don't have credit, you're not even in the game, which is what we talk about all the time. Anyway, getting back to this right here. I want to show you how easy this is. I'm a little fat. Holy cow. I got to lose some weight. Those of you who know, I like to wear a blazer and a button-down shirt with some jeans and tennis shoes. And I got my clothes we have another studio too over there in Houston, in another downtown Houston, where the engineers are tonight. Whew. I'm over here in one of the suburbs in here in our office, but once again, let's go over something here. Here's a loan. Here's your bank account. And here's your line of credit. Okay. This is a loan for $100,000. Okay. And you spent it like on a house. You bought a house, let's say. Okay. For $100,000. And you have to pay this off. And let's say we're going to pay it off at 4% interest. Okay. Are you with me on that? Let me see if I can do the calculations here. I'm going to put the numbers up. Normally, Faith, keep me going for another hour or so. This, when you own the network, I do what I want. And I've been on for an hour and 45 minutes. Let's just stay on another hour or so, okay? But okay, let's look at this is going to be simple. I'm going to walk through this in about a 15-minute process, okay? So here we have a loan for $150,000. $150,000, okay? The minimum monthly payment on this is $716.12. This is the minimum monthly payment. Okay? Here's your bank account. You make, let's say, you make $3,300 and how much? $3,386. Let's say you make $3,386 a month. Deposit. Okay, and then here's your line of credit, which was also 100,000. Okay, or excuse me, 150,000. 150,000. Okay, and you're going to put all $3,386 in here deposit. You're going to deposit. I'm going to show you the two different scenarios here. Deposit 716 or deposit the entire 3,386. When you deposit this right here, your monthly interest on this, the interest is $500. This is interest, 500. Over here, if you put the whole 3,300 in, oh, and on this, 500 goes to the interest. Hold on a second. And $216 and $216.13 goes to the principal. Okay. Over here, when you put your entire check in, it's going to blow you away. $500 interest. $500 goes to interest, and $2,886 goes to the principal. Okay, you see this right here? The goal is to pay down the $150,000. When you pay the minimum monthly payment of $700, you draw this out over 30 years. See this? Your interest and then the principal. This interest is always going to be higher. Here, because I'm putting my entire check in, 2,800 of it goes into the principal, and a very small amount goes to the interest. See here, the same as interest there, interest here. But look at the principal, 200 to 2,800. You see that? That's the difference. Now, when you use this scenario here, that gives you the cash flow here. It brings this down from 150,000. You take 150,000 and you subtract $2,886 because now that's paying down the principal, right? So in 1 month, using this strategy here, 150,000 minus 2,886 is $147,114. So it already brought the principal down. Over here at 100, using this minimum monthly payment, in order to get to 147,000, looky here. $147,100. You have to go through a year. You see this? 13 months. You have to pay 13 months. 13 months before you get down to 147,000. Before this, you're paying a whole year before you can get your principal down to $147,000. Watch. Watch now. This is incredible stuff. On your second year, on 24, on your 12th month here, look at here, on the 12th month here, or actually the 13th month, remember, it took 13 months to get to 147,000. 13 months to get to $147,000. Okay. Over here, it took 1 month to get to $147,000. If you continue to use this strategy here, in 12 months, you'll be at 100 in month 12, you'll be at 114,175, right? 715. 715. 114,000. You'll have about $36,000 of this 137 paid off. In 13 months, paying the way they want you to, in 13 months, you'll have $2,800 paid off. That's the difference. Now let's go to look at this. Look at this. This is a lot of fun. You get down to month 24 here, and you're down to 77,000 in 2 years. In 2 years, you're down to 77,000. In 24 months, you're down to $77,993. You're half paid off. You're half paid off in 2 years. In 2 years, paying the way they want you to, paying the minimum. And by the way, this is why they give you lower percentage rates. This could be at 18%. It wouldn't matter. This could be at 4%, which I calculated this at 4%. Here, this could be at 18%. It wouldn't matter because you're putting more money in than the minimum monthly payment. So that minimum monthly payment goes away. You're still going to pay interest, yes. But as you continue to put this large amount in, the interest goes down significantly because of the balance going down. 24 months, you're at 7,793. Look at this. In 24 months in this scenario here, you still owe $144,609. Here you have $75,000 in principal paid off. Here you paid off $5,400. 5,400 or 77,000, which one do you want? You see the difference? This scenario here, anybody can do this. In 3 years, in 36 months, in 3 years, you're still going to owe $141,000 using it in 3 years here. Let's go back over here. Just follow me. It's a little confusing today, but it's a little confusing today, but you'll learn. In the doing will come up the understanding. In 36 months here, $39,775. Which means you'd paid off $111,000 of this, almost $110,225 you paid off of this. Over here in 36 months, you've only paid off $9,000, which is better, 9,000 or 110,000. In 48 months, this is going to be down to zero. you'll have $150,000 in your line of credit to use all over again. That line of credit is still there. You paid it off, you get to use it again. Matter of fact, anywhere down the line here, you could have started using it again. On this very first payment, where you put that $3,386, you paid your $500 in interest. This is what created, this was your cash flow that you could have pulled out the next day if you wanted to. But we're using the scenario of paying this off. In 48 months over here, paying it traditionally the way you want you to. In 48 months, $138,770 still owed. You see this? In 13 months of paying the traditional way of paying your minimum monthly payments, you still owe $147,000. In 24 months, you still owe $144,000. In 36 months, you still owe $140,000. In 48 months, you still owe $138,770. You still owe that. In 4 years, you still owe $138,000. But if you will use this velocity strategy, and by the way, we didn't make this up. This is all the billionaires do this. My good friend Christy Van teaches this. She's an excellent. Go over there, hire her. You don't have to do us. One of the reasons that I preach this so hard, one of the reasons that I talk about this so much is because we are getting people, go to that link right there, smartmoneyculture.tv/credit, and let us get you $100,000 or so in 0% interest credit cards. It's not that hard to get. Anybody can get it. Now, people say all the time, well, I don't have a business. You are your business. David Mackey, I am my business. Chief, praise the Lord. I'm my own business. I am my own economy. You are your own economy. If you have a wife and baby, you, your wife and baby, the three of you are your own economy. Go get yourself we'll show you how to do it. Okay, to where you put yourself in business and you yourself is the business. We live in the greatest country in the world. There isn't a system like this in the world. Why? Because these guys who created all this stuff back in the day said, we don't want them to have it over there. They didn't want them to have it. And that's totally okay. It's not that big a deal, but we have it here. So once again, if you're not in debt and you don't have credit to pay the debt, you're not even playing in the game. But once again, let's get back over here. So all along the way, as you're paying off this debt, that cash, the cash from your bank account is gone. It's gone. Gone. Once you pay this debt with your cash, then it's gone. You can't pull the money back out. You put it into that loan, they're taking it. But over here, when you put your cash into your line of credit, you get to pull it out the next day. You put in your $3,300, you're going to pay your interest on that payment of the $500. It's going to create cash flow from the very beginning of $2,886. You could pull this out, pull it out the next day. Next day. Why would you pull it out? Well, to pay your bills. Pull it out to pay your bills. Okay. And the difference between your bills and the amount you put in is called cash flow. But in this particular scenario here, this is how it works. In 48 months, it's paid off your entire credit line, and it gives you the entire $150,000 to spend all over again. Or anywhere along the way, you could have done that. So we teach people here how we help you. We have a done it for you business where we do it for you. We help you. Yeah, you're going to participate. Let's say we're going to do the majority of the work, and then you're going to do some of the work. You have to sign off and give us permission to do it all. But we've raised $12 million so far. That's not a lot. We're babies. People say, well, how different are you than your competitors? We have no competitors. We have none. These great United States is so big. There is no we have no competition. We are not their competition. The other people that are in this business is not competition to us. Now, there are a couple of names out there like Credit Suite, Fund and Grow, Credit Stacking, and there's some big ones we won't even mention. Okay, but Credit Suite, you see them out in, and people are always saying, well, our competitors, Credit Suite. Let me tell you something. Credit Suite last year got their customers $1.6 billion in credit. 1.6 billion. That's how big they are. Do you think we're not competition to them. We're nobody to them. We are nobody to them. We're not even a fly on the wall to them. We're nothing to them. Are we friends? Yes. Do they know who we are? Yes. Do they like us? Yes. But we're nobody to them. We're not in competition, and they are not competition to us. What they charge versus what we charge is night and day. But once again, they've been around a long time. If they want to charge, they can charge whatever they want, and they're well worth it. We charge what we want. We get what we want too. But what I'm saying is we're not their competition. Okay. Fund and Grow. Fund and Grow, just in the first 2 quarters of this year, approximate estimates from them is about 257 million that they've helped their customers get in funding this year so far, the first couple of quarters. Are we competition with them? No. They're so much bigger than we are. They've gotten theirs too, a couple of $1 billion over the last 10 years. They've gotten their customers. So they've done really well. A couple of billion with a B. Do they know who we are? Not really. We're nobody to them. There's hundreds of people out there like us who say they're in the credit business, but we spent a few $1 million building a TV network and the whole system behind us, and then starting our services that we do. So even though we spent a few million, we're nobody compared to them. Funding Grow spent $25 million in marketing and advertising. 25 million marketing and advertising themselves. Credit Suite spent $180 million. 180 million marketing and advertising. So when people come out and say, oh yeah, we're better than them, you're not better. They're not better than them. They don't even have their marketing budgets are greater than these people are ever going to make. Even Fund and Grow, their marketing budget is twice what we have raised. Just their marketing budget is twice what we've raised for our customers. But we continue to grow. And so this year, our revenue should be, us with our partners, I don't know, 10 million, maybe 20 million, maybe 20 million when it's all said and done. But we're a small company. We're no one. in the scheme of things. But we have a good service, and we can all do the same thing. We have what's called a done it for you, which means we do the majority of the work. So if you have a 720 minimum credit score, you make about 60,000 a year, you've done your taxes. Um, there's a few other things. If everything is in order, there's no way that you can't go get yourself $100,000 in 0% business credit cards and or personal cards to start your business. And when you apply our our velocity banking strategies, then it mitigates any kind of losses. And so instead of paying all that interest on the back end, you spend it on the front end on your investment by spending the money on those cards. And then you just take all your check, all your cash flow that you have coming in, and or your revenue, excuse me, and you put it towards those lines of credit, and it kills all that interest that you would have paid. And it allows you to continue to invest. So even if your investments go sideways where you don't really make what you thought you were going to make, it doesn't matter. You're still going to pay it all back by using the velocity banking strategies. You would have paid it on interest. Instead, you spend it all up front on an investment. This is the coolest thing in the world, and anybody can do this. And I know I can go on and on and on. I can make things a little confusing sometimes, but it's really pretty simple. And tonight, I'm still live on YouTube and Twitter and Twitch. Hold on a second. All right. Well, we're not live on our TV network. Those of you who are watching us, those who are watching us on, uh, who are watching us on the TV network into homes, are no longer watching us. We're streaming still, but they're not seeing us. The great Jack McCall. If you go to, if you go to our TV network, channel 21.4 in Houston, you're going to see Jack McCall on there talking about his credit stacking. An incredible young person, young man, doing his credit business. Really, really cool. And they got our logos and our. Very interesting stuff. Okay. Hi, David. Well, one of the reasons, by the way, the it it's just because you're not familiar with with how to use your lines of credit. So, David, go to smartmoneyculture.tv/credit and fill out that form in the back, and then we'll contact you, and then we'll go over this with you, because it's not an oxymoron about credit. The thing is you haven't been taught, and most people haven't, so they don't understand that the credit or their debt is their power. That is your leverage. And then when you add revenue into that debt, it creates what is called cash flow. And then the banks go, oh, holy cow, here we got another participant who knows about cash flow. And they will start working with you because they know you understand how cash flow works. And the majority of Americans don't. We're taught to get a job, go to school, get a job, uh, get a house, be in debt forever, get credit cards, be in debt to your credit cards forever, get a job, be indebted to your job forever. There are 5 groups here. And I talk about this all the time. The financial system number 1 are the billionaires. Number 2 are the centa. Millionaires. Number 3 are the 1%ers. 1%ers. Number 4 are the underdeveloped. And number 5 are the hand to mouth. And by the way, the IRS, if you watch our show in the morning, David, we have a guy who's on our network here whose name's Hubert Johnson. He's one of the top IRS experts in the entire country. When the IRS or anybody in Washington D.C. say, hey, who's the guy that you want to go to? He's always in the top few names. Name's Hubert Johnson. He's in one. Don't do anything, David, until you talk to him. But go to smartmoneyculture.tv/credit, fill that out, and then let us contact you, and then go through our channels here, and then we'll show you exactly. We'll give you suggestions of what to do. And that we're not financial advisors, but you don't have to be a financial advisor to know how to do this. You don't. You don't have to be educated to do this. I'm an uneducated human being who happened to, do the right things at the right times and got the right results that other people who did what I did before me got and continue to do after me and right along beside me. I'm not special. It's just that I learned what these folks do over here who make money, and then I applied it. That's all. And if you're not in this boat, if you're not in the same boat, it doesn't make you stupid. It just means you haven't been taught. We don't know what we don't know until we learn we don't know it. So once again, this group right here is the group that makes this group right here averages there's 95 million in this group right here. 95 million Americans. Okay. They make between 39,000 and 150,000 a year income. These guys, this group right here, is considered the unbanked, which means they have bank accounts, but they don't leave their money in there. They mainly take it out. This group right here has typically there's 64 million of this group right here that have between 100 and 1,000 and $750,000 in disposable or cash, disposable income, somewhere sitting around disposable income. Now, just think about how much you've made in income, America. Let's say you're in this $39,000 a year. Multiply that over 10 years. That's $390,000 that you've made. Okay. And if you would have used this strategy of where we call velocity banking, where you put your money into your credit lines and then borrow back from the credit lines, that would have created higher credit lines and you could have lived in the middle. That's called cash flow. And once your cash flow reaches 50% of your bills, you're in the money at that point right there. At that point, you start growing. Okay? Because the financial institutions like the banks and the credit card industries, etc., they start giving you higher limits. With that higher limits, you can use to invest in whatever, any side gig you have or whatever. By the way, a lot of folks don't invest their money in things that are going to make them money. They're going to spend it on cars and furniture and, this and that and this and that has nothing to do with generating revenue. Remember that. As the leader of your home, whoever that is, if you're a single mother, you get to be the leader of your home. As a single father, you get to be the leader of your home. As a married husband, wife, the man, you're the leader of your home. So whoever that leader of the home is responsible for learning these strategies. We're the protectors, defenders, and providers, okay, and more. But we're the leaders, we're the providers, we're the protectors, and we're the defenders of the family. And so learning financial things like this is part of the leadership. It's how you defend your family. Okay? It's how you protect your family. It's how you provide for the family. But once again, you have to learn these things. And there's nothing wrong with not knowing it, but once you know it, that's where the problem comes in, when you don't do something about it and you know it. And a lot of you folks knew me when I was nobody and I had nothing. I'm still a nobody. Listen, there's no ego here, okay, folks? I'm just trying to say, it doesn't have ego. Put your ego aside. And when you learn these strategies here, your whole life will change overnight. Now, it'll take a few months for for things to start settling down. And you're going to need some credit. But if you have credit, then start using your biggest credit card. I'll give you an example. If you need to take a picture of that, but this is the group. This group right here has $24 trillion. This is the largest block of money in the entire United States. It's bigger than the billionaires, the centimillionaires, and the 1%ers put together. This group right here, this is the group that 95 million Americans are in. The $39,000 a year. And see this $101,000? For those who I've done this many times. If you see that that I just did a whole scenario of having a line of credit for $150,000 versus having a loan. And you don't have to have a line of credit for $150,000. You could start with $10,000. If you have a line of credit or a credit card, let's say your credit card, your largest credit card is $14,000. Okay, let's say your largest credit card is $14,000. Let's say your take-home pay is $4,000, and let's say your bills are $2,700. This is pay. This is bills. That gives you a cash flow of $1,300 a month. So the way that works is, let's say you have $14,000, and this is maxed. Okay, you put your $4,000 in. That's going to bring your balance down to $10,000. Okay, that's your new balance. You're going to borrow your bills, which is $2,700, which is going to bring your balance back up to $12,700. The difference between that $12,700 and that 14 is $1,300 that you have in credit on that card now. The next month, you're going to take your $4,000 and you're going to deposit into that account, which is going to bring this up to $16,700. You're going to borrow back the $2,700, which is going to bring this back up to 14. And did I do that right? Oh, I did that wrong. Hold on. You're maxed out. You put 4,000 in there. It's going to bring that down to 10,000 balance. Okay. You're going to put your 2,700 in there, which means now you still owe 2,700. Okay. You're going to put the $4,000 in there. Which is going to bring your balance down to, I almost screwed that up, 12,700 minus 4,000, which is going to bring it down to 8,700. Okay, you're going to borrow back the bills. That's going to bring that up to 0, 0, 14, 11,000. okay, which now is going to give you cash flow of 3,000, or did I do that right? 1,300. Let me make sure I did that right. Uh, 12,700 minus 14,000 is 1,300. Okay, so put your 4,000 here. That's going to make that 2,600. Sorry, $2,600. Right? Yeah, that's 11,400. Gives you $2,600 cash flow, which means you can go out and borrow that if you needed it. But this creates cash flow. Then you're going to take your 11,400. Let me scoot that over here a little bit. You're going to take your 11,400, and then you're going to deposit your $4,000. That's going to bring that down to $7,400. Okay, you're going to borrow back the 2,700, which is your bills, which is going to bring that back up to 10,000. So you still owe $10,000, but that brings your cash flow to what? 2,900. 10,100 minus 14,000 brings that to $3,900. That now you got $4,000 in your credit line. Now, when you learn how to continue to do this, the banks are going to take this and it's going to take about 4, 5, 6 months max, and they're going to raise that up to, who knows, 20,000, 25,000, whatever. But let's just keep going. So here you put in your $4,000. So 10,100 minus 4,000 equals $6,100. You're going to borrow back $6,100. You're going to borrow back the 2,700, which is going to put the debt back on it again. Now you're below 10 grand. But you see this? Every time you borrow back the money, it makes your debt higher. Every time you put your entire check in, it brings the debt lower. Now you're at $9,800. Okay? $9,800. Take your $9,800 and you put your $4,000 check in. That's going to bring that down to $5,800. You're going to borrow back the $2,700. Going to bring that to $8,500. Okay. At this point right here, your cash flow, 14,000 minus 8,500 is $5,500 in cash flow. And this is credit that you can pull. It's not cash. Anytime you put money into this line of credit or credit card, remember this is a credit card, you can pull the money back out the next day. Like you're putting the money in, but the next day you're pulling all the money out for your bills. And some people say, well, you can't pay your rent and stuff. Well, if you have your credit card linked with your bank account, you can most of the time pull money, transfer money. This isn't a cash advance. You just transfer funds from your credit card into your checking account most of the time. Not every credit card does that, but you can most of the time transfer it over and then pay that way. If you're paying rent and they let you pay with a debit card, they're not going to know the difference if you're paying with a credit card. Don't make a big deal. A lot of people, oh, you can't pay with a credit card. Well, first of all, you don't need to be telling them. It doesn't matter. If they accept a debit, if they accept a card, it's yes, what's your card? Then give them your credit card and use the credit card. The system doesn't know the difference. It doesn't matter. Just use your credit card to make the payment. Just don't make a big deal of it. You don't have to start making a big deal of it, because the person that's accepting your pay may not know the difference and cause a big trouble for you for zero reasons. You have 8,500, 5,500 in your credit line. You see how that works? And every time you pay, every time you do this, that goes up $1,300. So here you're at month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4. So it took 4 months to get here to where you have, this line of credit here, which is incredible. It's not that hard to get to. Put your 4,000 in right here. That brings that down to $4,500. You borrow the money, $2,700. 0, 0, 12 brings that up to $7,200. You're at 50% of the 14,000. You have $7,000 here. You have 6,800 in credit. You see how that works? Every month you do this, you add an extra 1,300 in here. The very next month you put in 4,000. That brings that down to $3,200. You borrow the 2,700. That brings that down to 0,095. The very next month you put in your 4,000. It leaves you $1,900. So in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months, give or take, you've paid off the $14,000 on your highest credit line. And you're still putting money in, and you're putting money in, pulling money out, but you've paid down in 13 months almost your entire $14,000 credit line based on income of 4,000 or take home pay 4,000, bills 2,700, leaves 1,300. Because a lot of folks, they take this cash and they have no clue where it goes to. They're just totally broke, and they keep getting broker. But this scenario here works every single time. Then you go to the next credit card, then the next credit card, then the next credit card, and before you know it, when you start doing this, that $14,000 credit line they're gonna raise that up to $20,000, $25,000, $30,000 or more, and then they start giving you lines of credit, personal lines of credit, and that's really where you want to be. You get the personal lines of credit, and you get them to give you a large enough amount, and then you pay off all your bills, and then you take this same scenario and you start doing it with your lines of credit. Okay, anybody can do this. Most people don't know how. And then they get scared because they think they can't do it because it's unfamiliar to them. And David and your family, I love you guys, but I'm telling you, when you learn this system, you can do it too. The whole economy works on debt and credit. And obviously, you say you have debt, you're going to the IRS. Well, the problem is you haven't learned yet how to play in the game. So once again, listen, I'm always looking for ways to get extra income and stuff and make, these little side hustles and stuff like that. Every single dime should go into your credit cards. or your lines of credit, and then that builds your credit. Pretty simple. I love doing this. Like it's this is just a lot of fun. Where are we watching at? This is on and uh, and we're somewhere here too. I think we were on okay. So now we're back again here. Anyway, I just want you guys to this is how you build the audience, man. It's painfully slow. But we're putting money in advertising into us. And people were asking, what's the difference between you and some of these other companies? Well, they're the big boys and the big that's how I like to say it, the big boys and the big girls. We're talking about the institutional companies. Those guys do billions of dollars a year. They don't know who we are. We're not in competition with them. They they do billions and billions and billions a year, okay? And they charge $50,000 to $1 million to consumers or businesses. They don't care who you are. They're willing to do business with you. But once again, they they do they make billions and billions of dollars, okay? And then they charge it too, which is totally cool. I love this American system we're in because it's set up for anybody to get ahead. Don't believe in racism. Don't believe in discrimination because our financial system doesn't know who you are, has no clue. Look at this. You see this tab? See this right here? This is our US debt clock. It doesn't know who you are. It doesn't know that Fly Mackey is a brown dude wearing pink glasses tonight. I love these dollar glasses. I wear them for effect. I can see, but this is a power color, by the way. You gay guys and gals out there, you don't own this color. This is a macho, manly color. Women used it too. Back in the day, hundreds of years ago, when the warriors were going to war, they'd look for the person wearing pink and they go, stay away from that guy or that gal because those are the baddest dudes on the planet. Those are the warriors. Stay away from them. It was a power color. In the early 1900s, and they made it feminine. This ain't a feminine color. It's a power color. You gay folks don't own the pink. Don't be mad at me. I talked to him. I got a buddy. Does makeup. And he goes, "Oh, I love your pink." And I'm like, "It's a power color." He goes, "It is." And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh, I love it. I'm power." He's a big old strapping dude too. Anyway, I'm digressing here. But once again, getting back to the debt. If you don't have debt, then you're not even playing in the game. I'm sorry. It's the way it works. Our whole system is set up, and it doesn't care that you're brown or black or white or Asian or any, it doesn't care whether you're educated, uneducated. It doesn't care how much money you make at all. Now, here in the United States, I just want to point out once again, here's our system, like the credit card system. The credit card system is broken down, or the financial system, the stock market, the IRS, the Treasury, SEC, FCC, half a dozen other financial institutions, the banks, the Federal Reserve, the central banks, all the local banks, the mid-sized banks, the regional banks, the national banks, all Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, all the financial institutions that you can imagine, they all have categorized the U.S. population into these 5 categories: the billionaires, the centimillionaires, the 1%ers, the underdeveloped, and the hand-to-mouth. This used to be paycheck to paycheck, but they renamed it hand-to-mouth, which means they're not poor. They're poor, but they're just living paycheck to paycheck. They're like my buddy over here, and like a lot of people who, they may make great money, man. They're broke all the time. Like you miss a paycheck or two, and you're gonna have some trouble. Okay, so here, this underdeveloped group is the largest block of money. It's the biggest block of money in the entire United States. It has $24 trillion in its coffers. And a lot of these folks here have learned these strategies we're teaching. They don't know they've learned it. But a lot of them have used some form of these strategies. That's why at $39,000 a year in income, they've been able to put away $101,000 somewhere. And this is, 64 million Americans that fit into this category. 64 million Americans that have a good credit score. Oh, these are. Here's another thing too, that 64 million Americans have a 750 credit score or higher. There's about 30 million of the 95 million that have okay credit. Okay, so anyway, once again, this is a great category to be in. It's the salt and earth of America. It's the regular Joe and Jane Americans. But once again, anybody can do this. Anybody can. I just laid it all out here for you. I've been showing you for the last almost 3 hours the difference between lines of credit and loans. And when you make minimum monthly payments for years and years and years and years, all you're doing is paying interest, because the loans and on credit cards, they're front loaded on interest. So those minimum payments is mainly going to interest. So when you learn velocity banking strategies, those type strategies, then it's front loaded on principal. You're still going to pay interest, but smaller amounts. And then because it pays it off so fast, you still have all that credit that's available to you. There's no reason why that you can't. And these folks right here, once you learn how to get credit, then you can use that credit to generate more income, to get yourself to the next level if that's what you want to do. But once again, you have to understand, 99%. Are you listening? America? Facts don't care about your feelings. 99% of every human being today runs out of money before they die. You're not special. So you have a 99% chance of running out of money. I was just with a lady from Costco who was in the finance department. She was the chief financial officer. She ran a $40 million a year budget for a company. She was the chief financial officer of that division, and did everything right. Worked for 30 plus years, put money away in a 401k. Bought a house, put their kids to college, and ran out of money. And then in her early 70s, she's back to working again at Costco. Now, she wasn't complaining about it. She was smiling and happy. But once again, she confessed, hey, I did everything right and I still ran out of money. Now, she still has her house and all that good stuff, so she's not completely run out of money. But her lifestyle, the money that she had saved, because the dollar, just, you can do the math on this. Okay. What cost $1 in 1924 cost $18.43 today. Okay, now we're not talking about the value of what you bought there was worth this. This is what it cost you today. For what cost you $1 then, it cost you $18 today, which means the dollar has lost 1,800% of its value. 1,800% of its value. That dollar there, you'd have to have $18 to buy what it cost 100 years ago. That's not value, that's inflation. And every 10 years, prices double. It's been doing this for the last 100 years. Whatever cost you $1 10 years ago, you fast forward it 10 years, it's going to cost you $2. Okay? Every 10 years. In 2019, the cost of a dozen eggs was 99 cents. In 2024, the average cost of eggs was $4.35 across the board around the country. Now, this has come down. So every year, every 10 years, this doubles. This would have been, in 10 years, $1.99. It took 4 years So what would have taken 40 years, it's done this in 4 years. What would have taken 40 years for this to happen has done it in 4 years. That's what's called hyperinflation, but they're not telling us that. They're saying, oh, if we ever have hyperinflation, there's going to be a civil war. Well, no, because most people are cowards and they're not going to do that. And I'll put myself in that category. We just go along with the flow. It is what it is. But look at your baskets. They called them grocery baskets because people used to fill them up full of groceries. But you rarely see anybody fill up a basket full of groceries anymore. You see what $100 get you. I went to Costco, $200 on what? I'm like, no, take it back. And I apologize, but no. I got what I needed there, and the rest of the stuff I put back. I said no. I bought $50 worth of stuff. The rest of the other $190 I put back. I said, I'm sorry, but no. I didn't come here for this. I came here for this, and I bought all this stuff, but no, I'm not spending another $190 extra. No, I'm not doing it. So, and these are things that I don't have to have. I want them, and I'm a fat guy. I want them, but I'm like, no. So this is just what I'm trying to say to you. If you're not in the game here, if you're not in debt and you don't have credit to pay off the debt, and you're not using your your revenue to pay off your credit so that you can get more debt, then you're not even in the game. I'm sorry. It's the way it works. So, we're up 400% in the last 4 years. 400%. Nobody wants to say that we're up 400%, but we are. Okay. Not complaining at all. We're just putting out some facts, and facts do not care about our feelings. All right. So there's some strategies that you can use that anybody can do this. Anybody. We were supposed to have an interview with President Trump in September for our little network here. He interviews with lots of people. We asked and asked. They said, yes, let's do it. And then he got shot. And then everything got sped up in his timeline of what they were going to do. I'm not speaking for them. I'm just saying this is what happened. So instead of talking about crypto at the UN blockchain event that we're going to be at in September, he talked about it at the Tennessee crypto event, gave an hour-long speech. Lots of people showed up. It was incredible. I was so glad to be able to watch that live and watch history in the making, because that was history in the making. The first president ever to attend a crypto event anywhere in the entire world. Not one leader of any country has ever attended a crypto event. He's the very first leader of any country to ever visit a cryptocurrency event. And he did it down there in Tennessee. It was pretty glorious. He said some amazing things, which was pretty incredible stuff. But once again, you've got, and so if they would just take these type strategies here and teach these things in school and then teach them in college, they don't teach none of this stuff. And people will laugh at you and call you stupid, and they'll say these things don't work. I have a partner I've been working with for years who didn't scream, but said, no, I'm not doing it. And finally, one time I said, okay, I can't talk to you no more, because I'm not going to talk to you about your debt, because I've given you the strategies to use. And I can't partnership with you if you don't use the strategies, because I need to, this needs to be a working relationship. Well, we didn't talk for almost 3 months. And then he called me up about a month or so ago. He's probably listening tonight. And he says, I want to tell you something. And I said, okay. He said, I've been using your velocity banking strategies. I said, write me a check. Because I told him, if you use these strategies, you're going to save yourself, $700,000 to $1 million based on what you told me in interest. Well, it comes to find out he's going to save himself about $700,000 in interest just by implementing this velocity banking strategy. Just by implementing this right here, he's going to save himself $700,000 in interest payments. Imagine this. You're going to pay it anyway. You're paying your minimum monthly payments every month. You think you're doing great. You got credit. You have your house. You're sending your kids to school. You're broke all the time, but you got money. You hope your worst nightmare is that you're going to get laid off and you're not going to have any work. So you go to work, you eat, you get fat, you keep working, you get more credit, you get deeper in debt. You get more credit, you're getting deeper in debt. Comes a day where you go, holy crap, we got to do something about this because they're giving us more credit, but now we can't pay it. We're running out of room to pay it here, and they're not knowing what to do. Anyway, he took this off, and within 4 or 5 months, he paid off one of his credit lines almost down to nothing by following this strategy because his income was so good compared to what he owed. He just didn't realize that all that extra cash flow was going to pay down that debt. And we're going to save him, or he's going to save himself about $700,000 in interest that he can now use up front for investment. Isn't that crazy? Okay. But anybody can do this. Anybody can do this. So if you have once again, 750 credit score, your income is around 60,000 or better, you've done your taxes, your address is all in order, no bankruptcies, this and that, then you'll do fine. You should, you should be able to get yourself 100,000 easy, and we'll do it for you. We'll do the majority of the work for you. Okay, hold on 1 second here. I want to put something else in here if I can. Here we go. I want to talk a little bit about crypto right now. And those of you who have been following me for the last, 7, 8, 9 years or so, I'm OG crypto. I've been around from the very beginning. I went from the outhouse to the penthouse, poor most of my life. But anyway, I was watching a video today where I was when I was on the radio saying, hey, you're going to see a dip, but even if it dips, it's okay because it's going to go back up to $7,000 or $8,000. There was another video in there where I'm talking where it was when it was around 3,000 or 4,000. I was saying this is a good time to buy the dip. Buy the dip at $3,000 or $4,000. I was talking about buying the dip. Now look at us. We're at $60,000. I want to show some basic, some of them. This is basic charting, but let's look at what's going on with crypto real quick. $61,132, and oh boy, I can't believe we get to do this stuff. Now, here is what you want to look at. Look over here to the right with me. You see here where it says the trading volume. Now, it's up 1.4% for the day, but that's not the story. Look over here to the right. Volume for 24 hours, 13 billion, 1,994,000 in trading. And now normally this thing is trading around 30 to 50 billion a day. So be careful. It's down 58% in trading for the 24-hour period, which means normally this is trading around yesterday it was trading around $27,000 or more, maybe closer. I think it was closer to 30,000 yesterday. 30 billion. 13 billion today. That is some very low trading. Buyers, sellers, beware, because you never know where this thing's going to. It's a AAA rating, but it doesn't have a buy or sell position here. So it's in the AAA rating, but it doesn't have a buy or sell. Let's look at the dashboard real quick. This is a day chart right here. So it's interesting what's going on. This is not scientific. Just showing you some lanes that it's traveling in. There's the lane right there. This is the lane that is traveling in right there. So the majority of the time it's traveling in this lane. Now, you can also see here that it is trying to make its way up. And this is pretty cool stuff here. I'm going to show you something different here in just a second. Matter of fact, you could take this if you wanted to, because these are day charts. Remove that. That's about what you'd be looking at right there. Okay. Right there's where you look at it. Dipped above this line here. Well, it's still trading down, no matter how you look at it. I mean, you could go there and right there. See the lane right here. Hit the bottom, hit the bottom, hit the bottom, went down below the bottom, and then back up. I'll show you another chart here. But this is the lane that it's traveling in, and it's traveling down. See that? It's traveling down. It's making an attempt to come back up. It's done a really good job too. Look at this. It's made a strong attempt. Well, it's trading at 61,000. I think, and let me show you another tab here. Once again, so this is a daily chart right here. But here, you see the trend here, and this is from February of this year to now. You see the trend has gone down, and overall, when you look at it here over the period of the last, see this, over the period of since 2023, you can just take this a little further, and these lanes right here, this is called a lane. It's traveling in this lane right here. You see that? It's traveling into that lane. Okay. And over here, this is the lane that it's been traveling. See this right here? So there's no traffic here in this one, but look at this lane right here. This is a well-traveled lane right here. This goes all the way back to 2019. Yep. 2019. And you see this lane that it traveled in, and then here's a couple of sub lanes that it's traveled in. Hold on a second. Okay. Now this is not a really deep, this isn't charting extraordinaire. This is some basic charting right here where I'm just taking what's happening on a daily basis here. You can see the lane going down. It's making an attempt here to go up. Now, you see this lane here. Look at this is just exciting as heck. Look at this. So you see this lane going down, and this is a daily chart all the way back for a couple of months. And once again, it made one attempt to go up. Let me show you. Let me show you something. These two lanes here. These two lanes here were attempting. See this? This lane here was attempting to take this into the $200,000 range up in as early as November of this year. This lane would have taken it to the 168, somewhere around 168 to 180, $168,000, 179, 180,000, also in that time frame. And then this other lane, now this one's already gone, but this one would have taken it to around 126 in that same November time frame. And these three, these are gone, but this one right here that it's in right now, this is the lane that we're in right now. This one right here, it's making an attempt. Now it's still, remember, even though this has made itself a lane, a possibility to go up, if the buyers have its way, sometime by the end of this month, we could be at 82,000. 82,629. The next leap up would be 89,000 in early September. In mid-September, we could be around $107,000. In the mid and late September, we could be around $130,000. In October, middle of October, we could be around $156,000. In late October, around the 26th, we could be at $169,000. And by November, like I was saying in those other channels, we could be at about $188,000. I have all my charts charted at $188,000. No matter what happens, I believe this is where the next milestone is going to be, around $188,000, $188,037. So it's going to tip $188,000. When we're going to get there, I don't know, but that's where I have it charted. I also have it charted going the other direction. I'm the only analyst in all of the world that's willing to say that I believe that it's going to take a correction in a big way. And I think, so if we hit 100,000, there's no looking back. Well, no. Let me rephrase that. If we hit 100,000, then if we hit 100,000, then I think the next move up is going to be, of course, we'll get to there when we get to there. But once again, everything leads, in my opinion, based on the charts, to about $188,000. Now, once again, it could be heading in the other direction. That could happen. Easy enough. I got a lot of numbers here. They want me to move off this account here. I already have an account with them, but for whatever reason, you can see here, this is just incredible stuff. This time has passed. This time has passed, but we're in this one. See this frame here, this lane here, we're still in it. Who knows how much longer we're going to be in it? See this? Let's make this a little bit bigger. We're not too far of getting out of this lane. So instead, unless it starts going up like this, up, this lane is gonna go away. And we're a day or two or three, a day or so. We're about 3 days away from it leaving this lane right here. So it has an opportunity to go to the moon. Will it? Who knows? It doesn't look like it, but it's accumulating. See this? See this? See those little candles where it hardly moves at all? That means there's very little buying, very little selling. See that? Very little, very little. So this is what's called accumulation. You can see those lanes clearly. Okay. And then you get back over here and you see here. Ooh, look at that. This is amazing. So this is where you just never know what's going to happen. Because here you see a trend line. This is what's crazy. And most analysts are never going to show you this because they don't, I mean, the average person can't really handle this. See that lane right there? All things lead to 88,000. Look at that. See this? 87,459. That's where this leads to. If it was to go straight to the moon, 88,226. You see this? See this right here? Take a look at this. Everything leads to this. If this lane would have had its chance, you see this? This is where it was leading to, $88,000. Now, when you scale this, it goes to 188,000. But now, take a look at this. Let's do this one more time. Let's take a look at this one more time, okay? This is what's kind of going on now. Oh, this is scary stuff. Scary good. Scary good. Scary good. That's this lane right here. And this isn't scientific, guys. This is not really a scientific lane. It's a possibility of what could happen if it decided to go to the moon. If it stayed in this lane where we're at right now, if it stayed in this lane and continued to travel straight up, we would hit 188,000. All charts lead to $188,000. All charts lead to $188,000. Okay, let me get out of here, out of this one right here. And then let's look at this, what's going on here. Ethereum trading at $2,659. Ripple XRP at 59 cents. Solana, $155. You're looking at Cardano at 35 cents. Cardano has a market cap of $12 billion. Shiba Inu, let's look at the Shiba. They call it the Shiba coin. Shiba Inu is up 4% for the day. The trading volume is 141 million. You never want to see this one go down. It has 589 trillion tokens. You want to see this in the $400-500 million range. You don't want to see it this low. It's down 39.66% for the day in trading volume. The market cap on this is $8 billion. You want this to be like 20 billion, not 8 billion. This is down to 0.0001. By the way, Dogecoin was at one time 0.0005. About the first time or so I was introduced to Doge, that's where it's at. Now look at it. Dogecoin is where? Did I miss it? Yeah, Doge. Here's Doge trading at 10 cents. At one time, it was 0.0005. Where that zero is, that used to be a 5. And the 4 numbers in between were all zeros. And then that 0 after the 2 used to be a 5. Traded $443 million. It's down 27% in trading in the last 24 hours. Yeah. There's Bitcoin Cash, ranked number 18 of all the coins, trading at $354.27. Trading $142 million, just down 50% in daily volume trading, which means yesterday it traded traded 280 million yesterday. It's down 50%, 142 million in trading. Has a market cap of $7 billion. It's a B rating, triple B rating, but it's in the down, not buy position. It's in the sell position. Sell. Interesting. It's in the sell position when Bitcoin is in the neutral. It's still a AAA rating. By the way, if you look here, Bitcoin has a $1,211,000,000,000 market cap. This is about 400. This is about 300 or 400 billion. 400 billion bigger than all the other crypto, Ethereum and everything put together. Ethereum and all of them put together. Bitcoin is about 400 billion bigger than all of those put together. Just to let you know. Bitcoin to Satoshi Vision trading at $43.02. Daily trading volume at 11 million. It was $90 million the other day. down to $11 million in trading, has a market cap under $1 billion. You never see it want to, but once again, it is what it is. This coin has some business behind it. It has a blockchain behind it that's actually working. Okay. So this is some incredible stuff going on here. I think that um, the buyer beware, of course, but you want to just pay attention because more millionaires and more billionaires are made in crypto than in any industry out there in the last 1,000 years or so. Of course, we weren't around 1,000 years, but it's a huge shift in wealth of what's happening in crypto now. And of course, we're heading that direction where we're, putting our business on that kind of platform. But so, okay, so once again, um, I don't know. Let's just take a look at a couple of more of these coins, okay, while we're here. This coin is something to look at, that Shiba Inu. I mean, this one right here is a slippery slope. But once again, I know a guy who has bought enough of this that if this ever hits a penny, if this ever hits right there, he's going to be worth 32 million. Wow. Yeah. That's all I got to say is wow. I'm going to do the math on that one more time just to make sure that I was right on that. Wow. That's incredible. If this ever hits a penny, yeah, he's going to be worth unbelievable wealth. Unbelievable wealth. So it's incredible. I'm not giving any advice. Please don't take any of what I'm saying as advice. But once again, no risk it, no biscuit. But it's incredible what's happening in the crypto world. So just be careful. This was at 0.00004 just a couple of weeks ago. Let's look at Litecoin. It's ranked number 24 and it's trading at $61.71. It traded 181 million in the last 24 hours. Of course, it's down 25% for the day. Still has a $4.6 billion market cap. So this coin's not going anywhere. This is a solid coin. It's been around for a decade and it's not going anywhere. This is one of those coins where is just a safe coin. It's probably not going to go to the moon. Who knows? But once again, it's just a solid coin to diverse into, to be able to put your money into. That's all. Yeah, they've been around for a while. I think this coin was $400 at its high. Let's look at this real quick. I haven't looked at this in a while, but it's piquing my interest. Oh, look at this. It's not a AAA rating. It's only an A rating, and it's in the neutral position. Now, this is a little strange. This is not common for Litecoin. This usually has a AAA rating, and it's usually in a buy position. Litecoin isn't going anywhere, in my opinion, guys and gals. This thing's been around a long time. You see here, okay, I got you. You see here, it was $112 earlier this year in March, and now it's $61. In in May of 2021, it was $411. So, and now it's $61. See here, now it's $61. You see here? Look at this. It made an attempt. Look at this. It made an attempt to hit, and these charts don't lie. I mean, this is not scientific, but I'm just laying out some lanes so you can look at the lanes, because it had plenty of times where it tried. See here, it tried to make its way back. It tried, and it had some buying power behind it to bring it up to. This is incredible. You just never know when the buyers are going to win out. And this is what happens. See that lane right there? So this is where it was making its attempt. And if it would have had its way and it kept going, it would have gone up to hit the all-time highs again. It was trying to. Of course, this time is gone. And now you see the trend here where, but this is amazing because you never know when one of these are going to hit. That's just the thing. You never know. Now, over the last several months, that's the lane that it's traveling in. See that? See that lane there? Hit the bottom, travel down through the bottom. Probably a more pure lane would be like that right there. Oh, no, no. Look at that. There you go. So here's where you see here, it tried to break down past this into this lane that's here. You see that sub lane here to here? Look at this. And this is why you want to watch what you're doing. Look at that. Look at that. See this? This is why you want to chart. So here's a lane that has been traveling in for quite some time, since a year, since August of last year. And it made an attempt to go up. And here's where the buyers made the attempt. But once again, you have to understand something. Everything is related to the Bitcoin. Remember, Bitcoin is a $1.2 trillion market cap. It's about $400 billion bigger than the entire crypto. Every other coin put together is still less than 400 billion in matching Bitcoin's strength. Okay. So, but once again, look at this. You see that lane that it traveled in? It's clear to see. You can see the lane. It's clear. Made its attempt, didn't make it. And then it started heading back down. But you see now it is traveling in this lane again. It's traveling in this lane again. This is probably, yeah, that's more pure right there. And then that line right there is probably a little bit more pure like that. But this is coming to an angle. This is going to meet about right here. So this could be, if you draw this out, this is if it followed this lane, could be where it's heading, but it's trying to head its way back up. And it all depends on what happens with the market. It's incredible. I love this coin. I mean, I'm they just been around a long time. This coin's not going anywhere. It could lose a lot of volume, and this thing is still going. It's going to be around for a long, long time. Let me get out of there. That's Litecoin. Here's Stellar. Stellar's been around a long time too. It's at 10 cents. It's traded, look at this, traded $44 million. So that's still a pretty good deal right there. And that's been trading for a while. That's been trading. $44 million is down 39% for the day, but look at the market cap on that. Still just right under $3 billion. That's any company would want to be at $3 billion. By the way, our company's heading in that direction. We're heading up too, little by little. Here's Monero trading at $150. And this has been a really solid coin for a long time, trading at, it's down 1.1% for the day, 18% in trading volume for the day, $45 million. This is usually trading a little higher than that, but it has a $2.7 billion market cap. This is a very solid company. Once again, here's crypto.com. We're doing some business with them. They're trading at 9 cents. And I think that's it of the coins that I want to look at here today. Yeah, here's Helium. This coin was at This coin was at $70 or $80, I think, at one time. Now it's at $6, trading $15 million. It has a rating, not AAA, not AA. It's A rating, and it has a 0 position on it for buy or sell. Let's just take a look at Helium just real quick. I think I've looked at this coin all of about twice, and they don't even want to pull up the chart on this. You're going to pull the chart on this? No. You don't want to pull the chart up on it. That's because it's ranked at what? Number 77. It doesn't want to pull up the charts on it. That's okay. $1 billion market cap. And let's round this up to 100. Rank EOS. The EOS token trading at 48 cents. This is ranked. This is EVAI, EVAI.io. This is Matt Dixon. He's a world-class analyst. This guy is sought after. His opinions and his strategies and his knowledge in the business. If you get a chance to do some business with him, you cannot go wrong. But once again, EOS is trading at, it's up 2.5% for the day. It's down 29%. Now, this is what you want to look at, guys and gals, is the daily trading volume, because this is where it's at. This is really where it's at. It tells the story. Trading $57 million for the day. Now, most of this trading is done from the people who own it. They're buying and selling and buying and selling and buying and selling. And we're talking about the bigger buyers. The bigger buyers are the ones who are doing this. And they take their profits and then they sell it and take their profits. There are other people that are buying and selling it quite often. Of course, you can look at the back end and see the real numbers on how many individual buyers or sales there were on this particular coin or token. But once again, it's down 29%, 57 million for the day, has a market cap of $700 million. You're not doing bad when you got a market cap of 700 million. Of course, you want it to be over $1 billion, but once again, $700 million. and it's ranked number 100. Wow, that's incredible. Let's take a look at this chart one more time. All right, I get it. I have an account here with TradingView, but for some reason they want me to, I don't know why, they want me to upgrade this account. I'm going to remove that. I'm going to remove that. These are some incredible lanes here. So this is why I have these lanes here. Look at this, because you can see this lane that it's traveled in. Look at this. You can see it. It's obvious. It's clear as day. But this is where, you can give a calculated risk. You see this lane where it traveled, and then it went up into this, then it went up into this lane right here. It had hardly any business in here from September of 22 to October of 2023. So there's a whole year there where there's no volume hardly at all in this lane, and then it went crazy. As around November of 2023 until February of 2024, it stayed in this lane, and then it popped up, and then you seen your all new highs again up into the $74,000 range. But since then, once again, it's making its efforts. It's trying. I'm going to take that off of there. I love to see this, but once again, we're past this point, and these aren't going anywhere because we're past the opportunities. But once again, here we are again, and we're probably a day or two away from this opportunity going away. So it's accumulating, guys and gals. So it's accumulating. The buyers and the sellers it's less buyers, less seller accumulation here. You got people are buying, you got people that are selling, but on a smaller amount. So it's accumulating. And you never know when that happens where this may head to. This may head straight up to the moon, and it may take a huge dip. But once again, let's put this back up there because I want you to see. Did I get rid of it? I want you to see here. Are we there? Yeah, here we are. You don't know where this is going to head. You don't know. It may decide to go to the moon, and then it may decide not to. If you're looking for credit, let us help you. Go to smartmoneyculture.tv/credit and sign up for today. And I mean, if you're wanting to know how to use your lines of credit or get more credit, we can help you do it. We're a small company, but we have a done it for you program. Thank you for our visitors here on X. Thank you for the 1 or 2 visitors on YouTube. One of them has gone back to sleep. Oh, we don't have a big audience, but once again, hey, this is our first night. So we're really excited. Okay, so we're into Sunday. It is 1:41. I've been on the air for 3 hours and 41 minutes. I could keep going. I could go on for hours and hours and hours. The longest podcast I ever did was 9 hours and 2 minutes. That's a long time. That's a long time. So anyway, anybody can get themselves $100,000 or more in credit. Getting credit's easy. It's what you do with it when you get it. And I can't tell you how many people I know that get credit and then they just save it. They leave it over there and go, huh, I can't do nothing with it. I'm going to take a bathroom break. I'm going to go check on my dogs. I might bring them in to the studio here. But they were raising Cain, boy. They were going crazy on me. But I'm going to take a break. And but I do want to do another velocity banking, I think. Okay, they're telling me that I'm done for the night. All right. Thank you. Interesting stuff here. I'm looking at some of our analytics. I got a lot of gray hair. I got a lot of gray hair. Well, we may get back to some here in just a second. Okay. Okay. All right, we're going to call her quits for the night. Okay. God bless you. I'm Fly Mackey with Smart Money Culture Television Networks. If you like what you saw, then subscribe. Hit that like button. Help us get going, okay? This was our very first night out, and we got 1 subscription and 15 followers. So hit that like button and subscribe. All right. For Fly Mackey and Smart Money Culture Television Network, I'm your host, Fly Mackey. Have a good night.